Have you ever felt a pair of cold, dead eyes watching you from the shadows of a cemetery? Tonight, we explore the terrifying legend of the Pocong and a midnight encounter that changed everything. It was a humid Tuesday night in a remote village nestled deep within the heart of Java. The air was thick with the scent of jasmine, often associated with the presence of the supernatural. I was walking home alone after a late shift, my only companion being the sound of my own footsteps. The path led directly past the old village graveyard, a place locals avoid after sunset. In Indonesia, the Pocong is known as a soul trapped in its burial shroud, unable to leave. Legend says if the 3 ties of the shroud aren't undone after 40 days, the spirit remains. As I approached the cemetery fence, the crickets suddenly went silent. A sudden chill ran down my spine, despite the tropical heat of the night. I saw something white flickering behind a large frangipani tree. At first, I thought it was just a plastic bag caught in the wind. But this figure was tall, rigid, and stood perfectly still. I stopped walking, my heart hammering against my ribs like a trapped bird. The figure began to move, not by walking, but by hopping with a rhythmic thud. Thud, thud, thud. It was getting closer with every agonizing second. The face was visible now, or what was left of it through the grime of the shroud. Its skin was the color of ash, and its eyes were hollow voids of darkness. I tried to scream, but my throat felt like it was filled with dry sand. I turned to run, but my legs felt heavy, as if I were moving through water. I could hear the hopping behind me, faster now, relentless. I ducked into a small alley between 2 old stone houses. I held my breath, praying that it hadn't seen me turn the corner. The hopping sound stopped right outside the entrance of the alley. A foul smell filled the air, the scent of rotting earth and ancient decay. I looked up and saw the top of the shroud leaning over the wall. It was looking for me, sniffing the air with its non-existent nose. In that moment, I remembered what my grandfather told me about these spirits. He said the Pocong cannot see like we do. They sense the warmth of the living. If you hold your breath and stay perfectly still, you might become invisible to them. I squeezed my eyes shut and counted the seconds in my head. I could hear the fabric of the shroud rustling against the stone wall. It was so close, I could hear a low, wet wheezing sound coming from it. Then, as quickly as it had arrived, the presence began to fade. The hopping sound resumed, moving away back toward the cemetery gates. I waited for what felt like hours before I finally dared to move my muscles. When I finally looked out of the alley, the street was empty and silent. I ran the rest of the way home, not stopping until I was safely behind locked doors. The next morning, I returned to the cemetery with an elder from the village. We found a fresh grave where the earth had been disturbed from the inside. The elder whispered a prayer and placed a heavy stone over the site. He told me that some souls are simply too restless to find peace on their own. Whether it was a hallucination or a true encounter, the fear remains real. In Indonesia, the Pocong isn't just a story, it's a warning to respect the dead. Every time I walk past that cemetery now, I make sure my pace is fast. And I never, ever look back to see what might be hopping behind me. The supernatural world is closer than we think, hidden just behind the veil of night. Stay safe and remember to always untie the knots when the time comes. If you enjoyed this spine-chilling tale, let us know your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more updates. See you in the next nightmare.